The acrid smoke from my grandfather's hand-built paddleboat filled my lungs as $45,000 worth of restored mahogany crackled into ash. The HOA president, this transplant Karen in her spotless tennis outfit, actually had the balls to stand there grinning while 3 generations of memories burned. "Maybe next time you'll pay the registration fee," she chirped, already dialing 911. What she didn't know, I'd spent 3 years quietly buying up 66% of the lakefront properties. This woman just declared war on someone who already owned the battlefield. 3 weeks before they burned my grandfather's boat, I was having coffee at Murphy's Diner when Dolores Krenski walked in with her clipboard. That clipboard meant someone was about to get screwed. "Mr. Decker," she chirped in that voice that could strip paint, "you haven't responded about the watercraft registration fee." I took a slow sip of coffee. "That's because I'm not paying it, Dolores. I'm Harlan Decker, 52, former Marine, sold my logistics software company to care for Dad in his final years. Worth it for the sunsets we shared on that 1962 paddleboat Grandpa built by hand. 3 generations of memories floating on that lake." Dolores's face went through several shades of red. "The Watercraft Registration Initiative passed fair and square. $500 per vessel plus mandatory HOA decals. Rules are rules." What she didn't know was that I'd been watching her operation for months. This woman had slithered into our community 3 years ago from some California suburb. She'd won HOA president by 2 votes, promising to modernize our quaint little lake. 47 properties around Willow Cove, half still owned by families who'd been here generations. "You know what's interesting, Dolores?" I set down my mug. "The Andersons sold last month. The Johnsons, too. Both after getting hit with thousands in HOA fines. Funny how your brother-in-law's company bought both properties." Her clipboard hand twitched. "That's public record." Also public record. HOAs can't retroactively charge fees for pre-existing property features without unanimous consent. I checked the statutes. The diner had gone cemetery quiet. These old-timers had been grumbling about Dolores's rules, but most paid to avoid trouble. Nobody wanted to be the troublemaker. Well, somebody had to be. "This isn't the military, Mr. Decker," Dolores spat. "You can't just follow whatever orders you like." There it was. The disrespect for my service delivered with that practiced smirk. She'd made a critical error. She'd made it personal. "Actually, Dolores, the military taught me to recognize enemy tactics. Like how you've been eyeing the marina for your nephew's jet ski rental business." Her face went white. She stomped out, designer athleisure swishing with outrage. Gus shuffled over to my table. "Harlan, she's got connections. You sure you want to pick this fight?" I smiled for the first time in weeks. "Gus, I've been preparing for this fight since the day I moved back. Made some interesting real estate investments myself. I woke at dawn to 17 HOA violations taped to my front door. Total damage, $3,400 in fines. Grass height exceeds regulation by 0.5 inches. Unauthorized American flag display. Apparently, authentic vintage was now a crime." The white Escalade pulled up before I'd finished reading. Dolores emerged with her enforcement squad, already filming. "Documentation time," she chirped like some demented home improvement show host. What Dolores didn't know, after 3 tours in Afghanistan, I developed healthy paranoia. My property had more cameras than a casino. Every second of their harassment parade was being recorded in 4K. The money shot came when they thought they were out of range. "Once we force out these holdouts," Dolores told her board member, "property values will triple." My nephew's already got investors lined up for the marina expansion. I spent 2 hours on my response, and it was beautiful. Certified letters to every board member with one simple message: "You're breaking the law." My grass measured exactly 2.0 inches with time-stamped photos. The flag violation: I cited the Freedom to Display the American Flag Act of 2005. Federal law trumps HOA power trips every time. Best part: I CC'd all 47 property owners and attached the audio of Dolores discussing forced sales. Murphy's Diner exploded next morning. She fined me for an aggressive garden gnome. Gus waved my email printout. "It's holding a fishing rod, not an AK-47. Emergency HOA meeting Thursday night." The community center was packed. Dolores strutted in wearing her power suit. "Due to increased security concerns," she announced, "the board proposes a lake access improvement fee, $2,000 per waterfront property." The PowerPoint showed slick renderings of a modernized marina. In the corner of every slide, Krenki Jet's ski paradise, coming soon. Her nephew Bryce sat in back, wearing the company polo already. The vote was called before anyone could object. Dolores's yoga squad raised hands in perfect synchronization. Final tally, 24-23. Meeting adjourned. Dolores practically sang. That's when I did some detective work. Started pulling property records online. What I found made my blood run cold. 5 foreclosures in 18 months, all purchased by Lakeview Holdings LLC for 30% under market. The LLC trail led straight to Dolores's brother-in-law. Pattern was clear: harassment, fines, foreclosure, family purchase. They weren't managing a community, they were stealing it. I picked up my phone. Jim, yeah, it's Harlan. Remember those properties we discussed? Time to make offers, all of them. For 3 years, I'd been quietly partnering with investors to buy lake properties. We'd been patient, respectful, keeping existing residents in place. Now it was time to accelerate. Monday morning, I pulled up to the marina to find a fortress-grade electronic gate blocking the entrance. Keypad entry, security cameras, the works. My boat sat behind that gate like a prisoner of war. I tried my key card. Denied. Called the HOA office. Your access card request is pending review. Expected processing time is 6 to 8 weeks. My grandfather's boat trapped behind a gate installed by someone who'd been here 3 years. That afternoon found me at the county courthouse. 3 hours later, I found it, a 1947 easement granting lake access to all original property owners in perpetuity, regardless of any future association. The paper was brown with age, but the language was bulletproof. My lawyer actually whistled when she read it. They can't revoke rights that predate their existence. Every board member who voted for that gate just opened themselves to personal liability. The emergency board meeting 2 nights later was beautiful chaos. 2 resignations hit the table before the meeting officially started. The gate came down at sunrise. Thursday morning, I went to prep the boat and smelled it immediately. That sickly sweet stench of sugar and gasoline. Someone had tried to kill my engine, but they'd done it like an amateur. Sugar doesn't actually dissolve in gas. It just sinks and clogs fuel lines. Fixable if you know what you're doing. Gus had been walking his dog at 3 a.m., saw the cranky boy by your slip with a gas can. While I worked, I thought about the bigger picture. For 3 years, I'd been playing a different game. Through various LLCs, my investment group had been quietly acquiring lake properties. Not like Dolores. We offered fair prices, included life estates so elderly neighbors could stay. As of last week, we controlled 31 of 47 properties, 66% ownership. I'd learned in logistics that the best victories happen before anyone knows there's a war. That evening, I took one last sunset ride in Grandpa's paddleboat. I should have known she wouldn't let even that go peacefully. The screaming woke me at 6 a.m. Multiple voices, raw panic cutting through dawn. I stumbled outside to see orange flames devouring my grandfather's paddleboat. 60 years of mahogany crackling like bones. Dolores materialized within minutes, perfectly coiffed at an hour when normal people wore bathrobes. Behind her stood a thick-necked man in an HOA windbreaker. She clutched a manila folder like a winning lottery ticket. This is exactly why we have safety regulations, she announced. We documented this boat as a fire hazard just yesterday. She produced inspection forms that reeked of fresh ink and lies. You burned my grandfather's boat. My voice came out in that particular tone that used to make Taliban fighters reconsider their life choices. That's slander. I'm calling the police. She dialed 911 with soap opera flair. Yes, we have a hostile individual making threats. 2 cruisers arrived in minutes. Dolores immediately played the victim. Officers, this man has been terrorizing our community. He refuses to follow safety protocols. That's when the neighborhood became an army. Mary Sullivan marched up with her. Tablet raised like a battle standard. Officers, I have security footage. Her camera had caught 2 figures near my boat at 4 a.m. Within minutes, 7 neighbors surrounded us with digital evidence. Tommy Chun had the killing blow. His system caught the whole thing in perfect clarity. Dolores's nephew siphoning gas, taking his sweet time. Sergeant Mills watched the videos, his expression hardening. Ma'am, you'll need to come to the station for questioning. You can't prove anything. I have immunity for official HOA actions. Lady, HOA immunity doesn't cover felony arson or insurance fraud. The insurance investigator arrived that afternoon. Former Detroit arson detective who'd seen every trick. Amateur hour, he concluded. Restored vessel, documented value of $45,000. Clear evidence of intentional destruction. Dolores made one last desperate play. Emergency board meeting trying to pass retroactive approval of hazardous property disposal. The 3 remaining board members stared at her like she'd suggested legalizing murder. Dolores, Janet said slowly, you committed arson. We're not becoming accessories after the fact. The meeting adjourned in 12 minutes. That night, I sat by the empty slip. Tomorrow's memorial service would be more than goodbye to a boat. My lawyers were prepared. Every document ready. 31 property deeds locked and loaded. The morning after the fire, I met my lawyer. She had that look lawyers get when they're about to deliver Christmas in July. Harlan, I found something extraordinary in the HOA charter. She slid a document across her desk. Dissolution upon majority property owner request, I read aloud. If any single entity owned more than 50% of properties, they could force immediate dissolution. The HOA's founding board had included it as protection against corporate takeovers. Beth, I own 66% through my LLCs. She leaned back, grinning like a shark. You can end the HOA tomorrow. Unilaterally. Meanwhile, the forensic accountant had found $200,000 in consulting fees to Dolores's relatives. Marina funds diverted to personal accounts. The HOA wasn't just corrupt, it was a family piggy bank. The media arrived early for the memorial. 3 news stations, 2 papers, and a true crime podcaster. Over 200 people gathered. The memorial program sat in neat stacks, with a special insert, the full dissolution filing. Dolores made her last pathetic attempt, trying to hire private security to shut down the event. Every company in 3 counties was mysteriously fully booked. By 5 p.m., she watched from her window with binoculars while her empire crumbled. Sheriff's deputies mingled casually, ready for arrests. We gather tonight to remember a boat, I began at the podium. But really, we're here to reclaim a community. I clicked through photos of 3 generations enjoying that paddleboat. Then came the announcement that changed everything. Before we continue, I have an announcement about the future of Willow Cove Lake. For 3 years, I've been quietly purchasing properties around our lake. Not to develop, but to protect. As of today, my investment group owns 31 of 47 properties, 66%. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Dolores's face went white. According to your own bylaws, Dolores, any entity owning over 50% can call for immediate dissolution. Consider this that call. The HOA is officially dissolved, effective immediately. You can't do that. Dolores shrieked. Actually, I can. And here's why. The forensic accounting slides showed everything. The embezzlement, the money laundering, the systematic theft. Agent Morrison stepped forward, badge visible. Mrs. Krenski, we'll need you to come with us. But I wasn't done. Your nephew was kind enough to document the arson. The gas siphoning video played on screen. Sheriff Thompson moved in with handcuffs. Dolores Krenski, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit arson, insurance fraud, and embezzlement. As they led her away, she screamed, I made this lake valuable. No, I said into the microphone. You tried to steal our home. But here's the thing about burning someone's boat. Sometimes they own the whole damn lake. The crowd erupted. 300 people cheering as justice finally arrived at Willow Cove. Every property will be protected by conservation easements, I announced. A community land trust run democratically by residents. No more dictators, just neighbors protecting neighbors. The vote was unanimous. The trust documents were signed that night, ironclad protection for generations to come. As the deputies' cars pulled away, I raised a glass of champagne. To Grandpa's boat, to our lake, and to everyone who's ever been pushed too far. 300 glasses raised in response. The sun set perfectly, painting the water justice-colored. Justice moved swiftly. Dolores got 5 years for arson conspiracy. Her husband pulled 15 years federal for money laundering. The nephew got probation after flipping on everyone. Every stolen dollar was recovered. $200,000 returned to the community fund. The lake transformed within months. Without HOA harassment, people improved their properties again. The conservation easement protected everything permanently. Property values jumped 30%, but nobody sold. Why leave paradise? Insurance money from Grandpa's boat created the Willow Cove Youth Boat Building Workshop. The first project, rebuilding Grandpa's paddleboat from his original plans. 6 months later, we launched Second Chances, with half the county watching. I became something of a reluctant folk hero, but mostly, I just enjoy morning coffee on the dock, watching families create memories without fear of citations. 6 months later, Dolores's foreclosed house was bought by a young teacher couple who immediately started a neighborhood kindergarten program. The universe has a sense of humor. Other lakes still battle their HOAs, but word spreads. Document everything. Know your rights. Check those bylaws for dissolution clauses. And sometimes, just sometimes, buy the whole damn lake. That's the thing about burning someone's boat. Sometimes you light a fuse for revolution instead. For Grandpa, for every family pushed too far, and for the simple American right to enjoy your property without some suburban dictator measuring your grass. Your lake is worth fighting for.